He is up there doing scientific research. He is solving problems. He is pushing the boundaries of what is possible. Pretty cool. Today is not just a moment of awe for our school. It's also a reminder, a very real and tangible way of what is possible when we reach higher. Our theme this year is Semper Altius, always higher. We couldn't have picked a better theme and a better event for this year, right? Semper Altius is about striving for excellence, not just in academics, but in character, in curiosity, in compassion, and in courage. We are challenged to lift our eyes above the ordinary, to strive for something greater, something higher in every area of our lives. And today, we get to see our motto brought to life. Astronauts are not only just scientists and engineers. They are dreamers, thinkers, and explorers. They represent what is possible when we combine discipline, passion, faith, and vision. They were once students just like you guys. They sat in classrooms, they listened to teachers, they studied math problems, they did science experiments, they wrote essays, but most importantly, they never stopped asking questions. Greatness starts with curiosity. Every question you ask, every challenge you face, every effort you make, you grow, is a step towards something incredible. So, who here thinks that someday you might want to be an astronaut? Anybody? Who here thinks that maybe someday you might want to be the ones that build the space shuttles? Anybody? Who here thinks that maybe one day you might want to build these radios that get to call all the way up to 45 Mount Everest's way? Yep, lot of math and engineering school in your future, guys. Hate to break it to you. Well, whether or not you guys dream of becoming an astronaut, a doctor, a teacher, an artist, or maybe something entirely new that doesn't even exist yet, remember that the sky is not even the limit. Your journey is meant to reach upward, outward, and onward, and there is no limit, as long as we're willing to learn, right? Saint Therese of Lisieux once said, "The world is thy ship, not thy home." Her words remind us that we are all pilgrims. We're explorers on our own way, journeying towards heaven, learning and growing along the way. So as we prepare today to connect with the International Space Station, I encourage you all to listen closely, not just to the science, but to the spirit of adventure, of exploration, of curiosity, of collaboration, innovation. And my prayer for all of you is that this event can spark some wonder, because who knows, maybe someday it's going to be one of you connecting the radios or building the ships or even orbiting the planet. Let's reach for the stars. Let's continue to aim higher. Let's do everything with a Semper Altius attitude in faith, learning, and life, and everything we do. So I would now like to introduce the gentleman who made this entire event possible, who's going to tell us a little bit more about ARISS and what it is and how this entire assembly is going to work. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Joseph Baxley.
So thank you, Amy, and thank you all for being here. This has been a wonderful group effort by the school, so I couldn't have done it by myself, and I did not do it by myself. So I would like to thank a few people before we get going. So one is our teacher committee. These teachers have been meeting every week to go and make sure that the educational plan got implemented and that y'all were having a good experience building up to this program, to this assembly. So Melanie Cuvillon, Eileen Ladd, Amy Faulkner, Vicki Kirkley, Carolina Teixeira, and Inga Pearson deserve special thanks for making this possible. Okay. We've had wonderful students that have been a vital part of this, especially our newsletter committee and the founders of our brand new Pinecrest Amateur Radio Club that have put in a lot of work popularizing the ARISS contact and making sure that you understood something about what was going on with the science. So I'd like to thank them too. And there's so many others who helped make this moment a possibility. So I would like to explain briefly what ARISS is. ARISS, Amateur Radio on the International Space Station. This is a group that has been arranging educational contacts, just like the one you're about to have, where you have a radio station on board the International Space Station that they use to contact schools, just like it's about to happen today. So today, the space station is going to cross over the building like this. And while we're doing that, we'll be able to talk to Colonel Mike Fink for as long as he's overhead, horizon to horizon, as long as we can keep the contact going. Now, ARISS has been doing this for a while, very successfully. What they want is for you to have this moment of awe and wonder and get interested in science, technology, engineering, and math. And that's a perfectly wonderful, fine thing. I love that they're doing this for us. I think one of the deeper things, I'm going to echo something that Amy said, is that ARISS is really about the triumph of the human spirit. So we have had, for as long as humans have been aware of the world around them, this fascination with the night sky. You saw Father Michael's blessing pulling from Scripture, where they're quoting the awe and wonder at the heavens. So for as long as humans have been aware, we have been looking at the night sky night after night, year after year, generation after generation. And our first science was focused on the night sky with astronomy in ancient Babylon 2,600 years ago. So this fascination has led us to ultimately going to the moon, ultimately putting somebody in space. So there's crews of people who live in space. That would have been wildly inconceivable to our ancestors even 100 years ago, and we've done it. So you're going to have the ability to talk to that person who lives in space via radio, where we're actually doing something even wilder. We're using light waves to talk at the speed of light to somebody who is, as Mrs. Bowman put, 45 Mount Everests away, and it'll be instant. You might measure the lag in nanoseconds, maybe. So that is another thing that would have been absolutely unfathomable 100, 200 years ago, and we do it every day, day in, day out. So when we talk about STEM, we're really talking about wonder and awe, and we're talking about the beauty of the world our God has made for us. So when we're thinking about what you're experiencing, I want you to focus on that beauty. And if you take an interest in STEM, think about it in terms of what it means about our world and our God. With that said, I have a video that we're going to introduce soon that's from kids about your age that is going to explain to you radio. And past that, we got a few other activities before we meet our astronaut at around 11:57.
Hi, my name is Ruth.
And my name is Chris.
You must be pretty excited to talk directly with astronauts on the International Space Station today. While we're waiting for the space station to come over your portion of the sky, let's talk a little bit about how it's going to happen. Of course, Mission Control is in contact with astronauts all the time, using a big radio with lots of fancy equipment.
However, we're going to be using something very different today. We are going to use ham or amateur radio to talk directly to the International Space Station.
When most people hear the word radio, they think of a music radio station, but it's so much more than that. Radio actually refers to the unseen energy that transmits all sorts of signals using electromagnetic waves. At first, people learned how to send signals like Morse code, and then they discovered that you can send so much more, like data, computer signals, and even TV.
Maybe you don't realize it, but you use radio every day. Maybe you watched the TV this morning, or you texted your friends, or maybe even you check social media like Twitter or Instagram.
Let's travel back to space for a minute. Since the beginning of the space age, humans have sent many spacecraft out into the universe. These range from the Hubble Space Telescope, orbiting the Earth daily, and the Curiosity rover exploring Mars. We've even sent a long-distance messenger, the Voyager 1, who has traveled outside of our solar system.
Whether it's capturing a great picture of a far-off galaxy or conducting experiments on the space station, radio has to do with all of these. And today, you're going to be using ham radio. Now you might be wondering, what exactly is ham radio?
Amateur or ham radio is a service and a hobby where operators can talk to people around their neighborhoods, their cities, their country, and even around the world. Amateur radio operators require a radio license from the government. They're not that hard to get. I have one. My call sign is KM4LAO.
And mine is KD8YBJ. Our call signs are a way of identifying who we are to other operators. This lets everyone know that we have the proper license to using the radios.
As amateur radio operators, or hams as we are often called, we can talk with others about basically whatever we want, often science or some new radio gadget that we are interested in.
Let's focus back to the space station and your contact today. Many of the astronauts and cosmonauts aboard the space station are licensed ham radio operators. That's why your operators today can contact them. The people here, as well as the astronauts, are licensed to talk to each other, and you are allowed to talk over to their radio.
For our conversation today, we'll need an amateur radio station on the ground, either in this location or somewhere else around the world. We'll also need a radio in the space station.
Anyone SS, anyone SS. Great.
You can hear the calls come. This is November Alpha 1 Sierra Sierra, the International Space Station, over.
On the space station, the radio transceiver is connected to an amateur radio antenna mounted on the outside. One of these antennas will be used today during our contact.
For our side of the contact, we need a good-sized antenna, a signal amplifier, something to make our signal stronger, and a rotator for turning our antenna. We have to keep our antenna pointed right at the International Space Station. And remember, it's moving across the sky and fast.
To aim the antenna properly, we need to track the path of the space station exactly. NASA uses complex systems to track the path of the space station and other orbiting objects.
The satellite tracking program we are using works out a complicated set of mathematics to provide the orbital location of the space station moment by moment as it moves through space. This information is sent into the computer that controls the antenna rotator, which moves the antenna to follow the space station. Maybe some of you have seen or worked with robotics. That's pretty cool stuff. And just like you can program a robot where to go, what to do, and how to get there, you can also program a computer to tell an antenna how to track the space station across the sky.
You know, it took a lot of planning to get this contact. Several weeks ago, the ARISS operations team had to figure out when the space station's orbit would pass over this location. Then, they had to talk with the planners at NASA's Johnson Space Center. The crew's time is pretty full, so they were able to find a time that could work for the crew members' schedules. Once they found times that would work both in space and here on the ground, the host organized this contact. And in just a few minutes, you'll be hearing and talking to the astronauts.
Well, it's almost time for your contact. It will be exciting, so good luck with it.
Are you all excited yet? All right. I would like to introduce now the students who are going to actually be asking the question of the astronaut. There's 20 of them. And these were selected in the lower and middle school, selected by the faculty based on their character, their interest, and their ability to represent the school. And they've been granted a great honor to be able to represent the school in this way. In the high school, we looked at all of those things, and we also did a student application where students got to ask or got to answer one question: why do you want to talk to an astronaut? A big question, right? So we looked at those who who expressed keen interest and like wonder and awe, and and had the ability to represent our school proudly. So these kids have been given a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I would like to congratulate them. So I want to read their names, and then we can give them a round of applause. From the high school, Sam Ansley, Grace Jacob, Aiden LaCour, Alicia Salazar, Henry Schaefer, and Elizabeth Washburn. From the middle school, Anna Marie Clements, Liana Gregorian, Val Lancheros, Caden Medeiros, Jackson Neff, and Ben Snyder. And from the lower school, Ben Barton, Sienna Davis, Anthony Metz, Mariana Noguera, Elizabeth Nolan, Teresa Sloan, Aubrey Smith, and Cameron Tollett. This is a day for all of us, and I want you all to be very proud of your school and for all of the effort this school has put into making this happen, and very proud of what this represents for us. On that note, I think Mrs. McGraw has something for us now.
Good morning, everyone. I believe you all have lights. Is that correct? Did they give you little finger lights? Because you are the stars in our universe. So if you want to flash those for us, we're going to play a blast-off game. At this time, Coach Adams and Mr. Lynch are grabbing a couple of our representatives to come up front. And we are about to begin training to become PA Space Cadets. If you are selected, please come see Miss Speakman here in the front, and she's going to line you up. All righty. As they're coming down, each member is going to be handed their multiple choice cards, A, B, and C, and we're going to test their knowledge of trivia and space. If you've been selected, please come to the front. Come on down, Molly. Come on down, ladies and gents. Come on down to Miss Speakman. Student representatives are going to line up across the front here and face our audience of classmates, teachers, and friends. High school representatives that are joining us, if you'll grab a set of letters from Miss Speakman, that would be great as well. Excellent. All right, audience members, can I have your wonderful attention, please? Today, these wonderful cadets are officially at our launch pad, where they are going to be challenged with trivia questions to see who is going to make it to space. When we ask the questions, guys and gals, you will hold up A, B, or C and show the audience your answer. If your answer is correct, you remain and you move on to the next level. If it's wrong, you'll just hand your things to Miss Speakman and have a seat again, okay? All right. And our audience members, let's see your lights. You're going to give them your energy. Here we go. Question number 1. Why is space completely silent? A, it's cold. B, there's no air. Or C, it's too far from Earth. Representatives, A, it's cold. B, there's no air. Or C, it's too far from Earth. We'll see all of our answers. Hold them up high. The correct answer is B, there's no air. Sound needs air to travel through. If you all got it right, you are moving on to Mercury. Woohoo! Our next question, which planet is called the morning star? A, Mars, B, Venus, or C, Jupiter? A, Mars, B, Venus, or C, Jupiter? Oh, I hear some wonderful helpers in the audience. Hold your answers up high. Hold your answers up high. Hold your answer. The correct answer is B, Venus. If you got it wrong, you'll hand your things to Ms. Speakman and head back to your seat, and we'll remain with our next level, which we have officially arrived at Earth. Oh, that was a big question right there. Got a lot of us. All right, audience, are you ready for the next question? Which planet is the hottest planet in the solar system? A, Mercury, B, Venus, or C, Mars? A, Mercury, B, Venus, or C, Mars? Hold them up high. The correct answer is B, Venus. B. Who got B? You got a B? B. B. Oh my goodness. Let's do one more round. We'll leave these guys up here. Everybody in this round stays. All right, we've officially made it to Mars. And on Mars, our question is, how long will astronauts' footprints last on the moon? 100 years, A. B, 10,000 years, or C, 100 million years? A, 100 years, B, 10,000, or C, 100 million? And the correct answer is C, 100 million years. Oh, we're down to 3. So because there is no wind or rain on the moon, there's nothing to erase the footprints. They'll be there forever, basically. All right, we have officially landed on the moon. No, we're in Mars. We're in the moon. Woo! All righty, your next question. Who was the first person to walk on the moon? A, Buzz Lightyear, B, Neil Armstrong, or C, Buzz Aldrin? A, Buzz Lightyear, B, Neil Armstrong, or C? The correct answer, B, B. All right, we're heading to orbit. Our next question, ladies and gents. What force keeps the planets orbiting around the sun? A, rockets, B, gravity, or C, wind? A, rockets, B, gravity, C, wind. The correct answer is B. Alrighty, and our final question, we might end up with 3 space cadets from Pinecrest, and that's pretty impressive right here. The final question, what 2 animals were first sent to space by humans? A dog and a cat, B, a dog and a chimpanzee, or C, a monkey and a hamster? A, B, or C? The correct answer? B, a dog and a chimpanzee. Alrighty, so these 3 cadets are gonna win outside. We have these great little awards that we're gonna give them along with some candy. Ladies and gents, take a note of who these are and I'll make sure to get their prizes. Guys and gals, the Soviets were the first, they sent a dog to space, and the Americans sent a chimpanzee. So congratulations to our wonderful space cadets. They are officially Pinecrest astronauts. And one more time with our finger lights, because you all are stars. Let's see them loud and proud. Woo! We love it. And you're going to welcome our astronaut back down to the front. Mr. Astronaut, join us. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gents. 4 minutes off for you, okay?
4 minutes will be fine. That means we can watch the video all the way before some of the kids are.
Perfect.
We might have to add.
All right, thank you, Mr. Astronaut. Thank you all for playing the game, and on we go.
Okay. and a hush falls over the crowd. That works for Emily, right, Mrs. Roman? Hush. All right, guys. So we should be really excited right now. But for the next little bit, I need us to calm down just a little bit because we're getting very, very close to meeting our astronaut. Just less than 10 minutes away, right? Okay, so we have a little video here. So some of us have now gone to space. We have a little video here of the astronaut that you're going to be talking to, Colonel Mike Fink. And I want you to take this opportunity to get to meet him and put a face to the name because you're going to be hearing him in less than 10 minutes, okay?
Human beings, part of our nature, part of who we are, our identity is explorers. Because every time we explore, we improve our lives and our situations. It's just natural. My name is Mike Fink, and I'm the pilot for NASA's SpaceX Crew 11 mission to the International Space Station. I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, home of the mighty Steelers, and it was a great time to grow up, lots of great educational opportunities, a time that was tough economically, but a place where we knew that dreams could come true. When I was like 2 and 3 years old, my parents would wake me up from whatever nap I was taking to watch moon landings. We did many moon landings back in the late 60s and early 70s, and that made a big impression on me. So I knew that back then, even when I was like 3, that I wanted to be an astronaut. I wanted to go walk on the moon. I wanted to go explore space. So I learned to read so I could read more about space, and the more I read, the more excited I became. When I was in high school, I didn't know what engineering was. I knew what math and science were, physics. I was kind of good at that. Math, I took a leap of faith and went to an engineering program at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, thankfully paid for by an Air Force ROTC scholarship, and then hustling with side gigs on the weekends. And I got to study airplanes and rockets, 2 of my favorite things. So I was able to graduate from MIT with 2 degrees, and then the summer after graduation, I had a really wonderful opportunity to study in Soviet Union. Fortunately, I'd studied Russian language, so I knew enough Russian to go with some colleagues, and we spent the summer at Moscow Aviation Institute studying cosmonautics. And then I spent the next year at Stanford University getting a master's in aeronautics and astronautics. I love the space station. I helped build it. I helped the first modules get ready here on planet Earth, and have had the joy of living aboard the space station for 2 long-duration missions so far. We've learned from the International Space Station that space is a great place to really understand more about the universe. When we are aboard the International Space Station, we're still gravitationally connected to planet Earth, but we're free-falling, so like we're in microgravity. So you take that big G out of the equation, and then you can find out what's really going on physically. We're also outside the atmosphere, so we can look to the universe beyond us without atmospheric interference. When I'm on a spacewalk, I can look out to the whole universe, and I can see how small our planet is and how big and wonderful the rest of the universe is, and it's calling to us. We need to explore and go see the whole universe that's out there. Space exploration is something that really speaks to me as a person, right? We all kind of have our passions, and for me, since I was like 2 or 3 years old, I wanted to go to space, explore space, and I've had a chance to do that. Half my life I've been an astronaut. I've really, really enjoyed exploring space.
Okay, we are, how many minutes do we have? We are 5 minutes away, so we're going to have our questioners start to come up. Now, when we get to our part with our countdown, we're going to ask that the audience stay super, super quiet so that we could hear Colonel Fink's response. Okay, remember, he's really, really far away, so we want him to be able to hear the question very clearly, and we want to be able to hear his response pretty clearly. It's going to sound a little bit different than it does when you're talking on a normal cell phone, okay? So if you're super quiet, then you'll be able to hear the response, okay? So we're going to ask the questioners to come on up and start lining up so they can get in position. We'll start our official countdown here in just a couple of minutes. Pretty impressive, right? What is that? Was that MIT double degree followed by Stanford? Another degree? A lot of math and science, guys. A lot of math and science. Okay, we got 11:54. Our point of contact is 11:57, so we are 3 minutes. Do you want to bring the first couple kids? This is pretty exciting. $11:55, 2 more minutes. I know it's so hard, guys. It's so hard to stay super quiet. It'll be the longest 2 minutes. It's funny how you have to be super, super precise because we have to call them at just the exact moment when it hits just the right location overhead. That's how exact it has to be, right down to the second. Okay? So our friends here, and they've told us, I'll let you guys know, after the assembly is done, the folks from the amateur radio volunteers have let us know that if you want, in small groups, especially our high school who have lunch right after this, if you want to come up and take a look at some of this equipment up close, they've offered to show you and show you how it works in small groups. So that's pretty exciting. Okay, 11:56.
Sierra Sierra, this is Kilo India 4 India Tango Golf calling for a scheduled contact. November Alpha 1 Sierra Sierra, this is Kilo India 4 India Tango Golf calling for a scheduled contact. November Alpha 1 Sierra Sierra, this is Kilo India 4 India Tango Golf calling for a scheduled contact.
Kilo India 4 India Tango Golf, this is NA1SS International Space Station. I hear you 4x4 and getting better.
November Alpha 1 Sierra Sierra, this is Kilo India 4 India Tango Golf. Stand by for student questions.
And the International Space Station, Mike speaking, ready. Hi, Teresa. In space, we don't really feel that there's an up or down, so I actually have a very, very tiny room, but I sleep standing up because I can't lie down in it, and I sleep in a sleeping bag, and it's great. Over.
Hi, I'm Liana, and is your food rationed, or can you eat as much as you want?
Hi, Liana. The answer is both. They give us a certain amount of food, but it's so much that we can eat as much as we want. Over.
Hi, Mr. Fink. This is Henry. I once was told that we could be on Mars around 2035. Is that still a reasonable time frame? Over.
Hey, Henry, it could be you on Mars someday. You never know. Or some of your classmates. In any case, I think that's a reasonable timeline, but it's going to be very tough. So we need all the engineers and scientists we can get. Over.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth. What's your favorite space food? Over.
Hello, Elizabeth. I hear you loud and clear. We love tortillas. Tortillas are the best plate that you can eat up in space. So we put a lot of our food into tortillas and just eat it. It's one of my favorite space foods. Over.
Hi, I'm Anna Marie. What does it feel like to be in microgravity? Over.
Hey, Anna Marie. Hi from space. And yes, it's great to be in microgravity. You feel normal, except you could fly. Over.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth. What happens if you get sick in space? Over.
Hey, Elizabeth, we try not to get sick in space, so we get a lot of medical tests before we fly, and when we're up here, we all have medical training. We're not doctors, but we can help each other, and then we can always call for help to our doctor friends on the ground. Over.
Hi, I'm Ben. How long does it take to get to the International Space Station? Over.
Hey, Ben, great question. It all depends on when we launch. For us, on the Dragon Crew 11, we launched in 14 hours. We were docking to the space station. Over.
Hi, I'm Val. How is it living in such close proximity to coworkers? Over.
Hi, Val. I come from a big family, so it seems like I'm still in a big family, but we have such a great crew that I really like working in close proximity with my crewmates. Over.
Hi, I'm Alicia. What systems of your body are most affected by the lack of gravity, and how do you mitigate the effects of exposure to microgravity? Over.
Hello, Alicia. Our bones and muscles deteriorate rapidly if we don't exercise. So we mitigate it by exercising every day for about 2 hours. And that includes cardio, workouts, and weightlifting. Over.
Hi, I'm Cameron. And have you ever had a scary moment in space?
Hey, Cameron. Yeah, my first spacewalk was a little scary because we were running out of oxygen. So we came back inside pretty quickly. But I wasn't really scared. I was just glad to be out on a spacewalk. Over.
Hi, I'm Ben. How do you perceive time in space? Over.
Hey, Ben. We use a standard clock, and we perceive time by just using watches. We run on Greenwich Mean Time up here, so it's a standard 24-hour clock. Over.
Hi, I'm Grace. How has living in space changed your perspective on Earth? Over.
Hey, Grace. When you're up here, it really looks like everybody on the planet is not getting along sometimes for no good reasons. And I think that we're all brothers and sisters, and we should all be working together and hugging each other and go flying and exploring the universe instead of fighting downstairs. Over.
Hi, my name is Mariana. Do you play games or sports in space?
Over. No, we do not play so many games or sports in space. We have a lot of word games, but there isn't a lot of places to kick a ball around. Over.
Hi, I'm Jack. Where did you go to college and what degree did you get?
Hi, Jackson. I was very lucky. I got to go to a lot of really fine schools. One of them was MIT, another one was Stanford, and I studied aerospace engineering. Over.
Hi, I'm Sam. Does stargazing lose its beauty after a while, or does it remain inspiring?
Hey, Sam. I haven't got tired of it yet, and I'm almost 40 years old. But looking out the window and looking at the stars and looking at planet Earth hasn't got tiring yet. Over.
Hi, I'm Anthony. Can you see other planets from the space station?
Hey, Anthony, we're only 250 miles away above planet Earth, so all the planets are still the same size, except we can see them a little more clearly because we don't look through the atmosphere. Over.
Hi, I'm Caden. What do you do on a day-to-day basis? Over.
Hey, Caden. Good to hear you. And day to day, every day is different. One day we're doing science, next day we're fixing something, next day we're moving cargo around, next day we're moving the robot arm around. It never gets old. Over.
Hi, I'm Aiden. Have you seen the Aurora Borealis from space? Can you describe it? Over.
Hey, Aiden, I've seen both auroras, both the northern and southern lights, and it's a glimmering curtain of green and red. It's beautiful. I hope you get to see it someday. Over.
Hi, I'm Sienna. Do you ever do a backflip when you're floating? Over.
Hey, Sienna, I do a back flip and a front flip every time I can do it, especially in front of a camera. And then someday you'll have to ask me about my Iron Man.
Hi, I'm Aubrey. How do you see your family? Over.
Yes, I see my family on video cons once a week. Over.
November Alpha 1 Sierra Sierra. This is Kilo India 4 India Tango Golf. Thank you very much for the contact. This is Pinecrest Academy signing off.
And this is the International Space Station. To all the students out there, be good, study hard, and be nice to each other, and always do your best. Over.
Cheer, guys.
Semper Altius. Semper Altius.
Because we got to ask all of the questions, I think even plus some of our extras. So, and we got to hear nice and clearly. So, I mean, that was pretty special. Thank you again, Dr. Baxley. Thank you to our teachers who helped our question askers prepare, and thank you to our question askers for speaking so clearly and for coming up and asking the questions. That was super fun. Okay, so as we conclude today, I just want to take a quick minute to give a couple of very important thanks to some people who made this whole day possible. Now, I've planned a lot of assemblies in my days in education, but I do have to say that this one is probably the most unique and perhaps one of the most collaborative that I have ever been a part of. So I really hope I don't forget anybody, because this has been one of the biggest team efforts out of any assembly that I have ever been a part of. First of all, once again, thank you to the members of the local press and the members of the Forsyth Chamber of Commerce. I'm so glad you were able to join our community. Everyone from Dr. O'Rourke, who made our amazing rocket, Jackie O'Neill, and our Papa volunteers for turning this gym into perhaps the most incredibly decorated assembly that we've ever seen. Our high school newsletter team, our lower school logo designer, our student question askers, our fine arts department for the amazing artwork. I hope you guys all get a chance to take a look at some of the artwork that's in the lobby. Our faculty committee members from all of the 3 schools who have been meeting since last spring. Believe it or not, we started planning this assembly 16 months ago. Miss McGraw and her crew for sharing the space and her talents with our fun activity. Our entire facilities team who came in over fall break to help set everything up here. Mrs. Hurd, our Director of Communications, who's been working tirelessly to prepare everything behind the scenes. Our teachers for their flexibility, their efforts to incorporate engineering-themed space lessons into their content. To Daryl Young, once again, and his team of North Fulton Amateur Radio League volunteers. They lent us their expertise, their time, and also their equipment to make this entire thing possible. We couldn't have done it without you. And of course, we need to give a really big thanks to the man who made this entire event possible for us. Please join me in thanking Dr. Baxley. Okay, I hope I didn't forget anybody. This was a really big one. This concludes our assembly. As I mentioned, the team here is open to showing some of the equipment, if any, in small groups, if any students would like to stay behind. At this time, some practical things. Our pre-K through 8 students are going to be dismissed back to their classroom. Our high school students are going to be dismissed directly to lunch. But as a reminder, high school students, after you pick up your lunch from the lunchroom, we're asking that you please not eat in the atrium or the cafeteria, that you take your lunch someplace outdoors, okay? All right, thank you everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. God bless.